I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to DocuSweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be, very, very bitter, very salty. I mean, just like, well, listen, spicy. Spicy if you know us. I mean, especially as we get into that holiday season, honey, it's pumpkin spice.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet, like pumpkin spice.
Hey, it's pumpkin spice. It's allspice. It's nutmeg spice. It's sporty
Cinema,
spice. You know,
cinema.
it's posh spice. Oh, have you watched any of the David Beckham and Posh Spice thing?
No, but I love the clip of her being like, "What is like from working class families or
Tell
whatever."
the
And
truth.
just that I know I working
What kind of
class
car?
family.
What kind of car did your dad drive?
Well, it's a complicated, David. In the
What kind of
80s,
car? Be honest.
well, he had many cars, David.
The
Please.
one you drove to school.
Well, it was a Rolls Royce.
I'm so annoyed I forgot to do the accent. But anyways.
I just loved it. I loved
Yes.
it too. I was like, sure,
She just
sure,
was
sure,
so
sure.
like working class is like crazy for her to say. It's like she has no idea what working class is. The fact is that she knows what a Rolls Royce was. I had no idea what a Rolls Royce was, nor a Bentley, until I was in my 20s. No idea. It's okay, Chris. Let's move on.
Listen, I'm not sitting here saying I'm working class though, so God bless.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah,
I'm not down on that hill, so we can. So yeah, we are talking. Did we talk about what we're talking about?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Go ahead. You tell him.
Okay, you know what we're doing? We're talking about television shows. You're listening to a podcast, and specifically, hopefully, you watched Love After Lockup, or season 5, episode 5. Rome's not where the heart is, honey. Unless you like pizza.
Oh, yeah.
What? I know. I mean, do what you want with me.
Mhm.
But basically, or pasta. This was, an episode of a lot of PO possibilities, and then just kind of boring scenes where you see them go up to the place, and then the after effect of like, will they or won't they? And there's a lot of, can they go to a different state and
Mhm.
therefore live their lives with their new person, and it's supposed to be like dramatic. So that happens a couple of times this episode.
On a
Shocking.
positive note, we
What?
don't have many parents that are skeptical. In fact, I don't think we have any parents except for Louie, but Donna is the only crazy parent. Everyone else is being somewhat understanding and supportive of their child who's just gotten out of prison.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the interaction between Joinomi and what's his face's mother.
Oh,
Red's mother. I really enjoyed that.
yes. We can talk about that. This is the sister. I couldn't quite tell if it was mildly fake or not. I wanted to think it's maybe, I don't know, but we
You
can
know
talk
what I
about it.
could tell was fake though? That
What?
hair, because that wig line was awful. She had
Uh,
no lace. It was she wasn't even trying to pretend. She just put that thing on her head.
I mean, listen, it's not the worst we'll see, and it's not the best we'll see. That's
Mhm.
all I have to say about that. But who do you want to start with first?
Let's start with Handy and Brittany.
Okay. Go ahead.
She comes back. She comes back and she has her bags with her. And he's like, "Whoa, hello." Like he's all in a good mood all of a sudden, like nothing really happened. And she sits down and she's annoyed. And he's like, "I think it's time for us to just go back to Rome, get home." You know what I'm saying? And she's like, "No, I don't like the way you handled that thing with Gracie." And he's like, "Oh, what? What do you mean? I was just trying to get you out of a bad situation." And she's like, "It wasn't very manly of you to handle the thing the way." And I said, "Ooh, she wants to fight."
She went for a jugular. That was some fighting words. You're right. She wanted to like accost his. It's an emasculating thing to say something is not manly. Literally, like that's literally what that means. And so I think the thing about it is this is a very interesting Brittany. I think that I take a turn of understanding her. I think that I'll just be honest. I think that in the first couple of episodes, the delicateness of her sobriety wasn't as, I think, loud to me as I understand it now to be. Because she's been in prison for a long time, and she seems like very on shaky ground. And it's like, I know this sounds bad. I'm just like, oh, we should have gotten her, like if I was her PO person, I'd be like, oh, we should like just give this girl should go to a halfway house. This is halfway house behavior. Like, and that is ultimately what is the problem about her whole situation is that for some reason Brittany is not in a halfway house because for whatever reasons she does not have access to better things, and so she has given herself the safe house option of Handy, who is someone who she is repulsed by so much she can't even give him one, and he expects that. And so also all of his verbiage to her is like, well, you settled down now, are you okay now, you just, because like his priorities are to get this new woman as fast as possible to his bed and like make a life for himself without really understanding who she is at all. She ends up saying later in the like in this episode, like, we don't know each other. Like, you saw me at my best, bitch, and I was in prison, like giving you my best 15 minutes of the fucking day. And I put on makeup and you saw FaceTime and I was smiling. I didn't tell you shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now you're seeing me in real life. And as I said in this when I started this, I didn't quite understand as she talks about, yeah, I think that she is not really super comfortable and she almost scares me in this because I don't feel very safe in her sobriety. And I think that she really needs to be in a supportive environment with professionals because it seems like there's a lot happening already for her and at any time it can go sour and it can't possibly be a safe situation with Handy, you know?
Absolutely not. No, he does is not aware of that. He fully thinks that he's the knight in shining armor, and he won't even admit to her that his actions regarding Gracie were selfish. He's unable to even admit that he wanted her for himself, and he feels like Gracie's a grown ass woman, and that grown ass woman needs to get over the fact and grow up and move on because her mother is going to a better situation.
Yep.
And she's like, "You're being selfish." And he's like, "Babe, I'm not." And he's like saying it very patronizing. He's like, "I just want everything that's right for you, you know?" Like when you do that, when you speak in that pattern where you pause and just like say something like, and you hear what I'm saying, as though like, yeah, she's like, "I don't really want to argue with you right now." And I thought that was a really smart choice for her to make. And so he then calls Barry and is like, "We're ready to go. So come here and move our stuff." And I'm like, "You could help us pack." And she just grabs her duffel and goes down and just leaves him there. And the fact that he's unable to even talk to her about that, like acknowledge the fact that she's pissed off, shows his emotional intelligence.
Yeah, this is a good Barry scene. Barry's been just like FaceTiming his sisters the entire time. And it's interesting because Barry really does present as a very loyal subject son of Handy's. You know what I'm saying? Where obviously the daughters don't give one F. They don't care, but there's no loyalty there. They've been wronged. And so they don't feel like they have to pretend at all. In fact, they, I think, somewhat delight in being like, real talk. Oh, you suck. No, no. Oh, he totally sucks. And then so to have like, okay, so anyway, yes, Barry now, as Wa says, moves all the fucking things, brings them down. Okay, so they all then go back to Rome. Okay, and it's a very awkward car ride, and she like hates every second of it, and she's like awkward, and she's like it feels nightmarish. They bring up to the place. She's like, oh, it looks good. They go through the house. There's like a backsplash that like makes me feel like something was new done there, but there's like the oldest washer and dryer that looks like from the 70s. She like makes it a point to look at it like, she doesn't trust it. He shows her their room. Barry's like, cool, I'm just going. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. You're gonna have to edit that part out, or I don't know, or a patron was like, this happened on a live stream that I was YouTubing, and when I thought it happened, I just assumed that someone in the chat had said like happy birthday or something, and that's what had happened, or maybe some weird super chat. But I think now it's triggered by something that I fucking say. Wah.
Well, you didn't say happy birthday. You said their room. And then this is what happened. You said their room and you air quoted it. And then all of a sudden I thought about that couch and I stopped listening to you because I was like, why the fuck is there a couch in the room? And that's all. I don't know what you're saying.
So basically, she gets offered their room, and Barry goes to his room and offers them some alone time, and she does not want the alone time, even though she does not want to be around him either. She's just like living in some sort of hellhole. And I will say she also has the wherewithal to be like, okay, I'm gonna tell you this fucking right now. There is no goddamn way, and I mean this. I can sleep in that bed with you. I mean, I don't even know who you are, and I am on like, I mean, I'm on very shaky ground here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take that guest room, and really appreciate everything that you paid for, including. I'm just gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be like a free roommate situation for the next month. I'm not gonna touch you. I mean, but I will live in your guest house until I want to leave.
Yeah. And that's her absolute right. And she should be able to do that. And he's like, I got this house for us. And I'm like, but Barry lives there. So really, is it really for her? Also, Barry's like, I'm going to go to my friend's house. Bye. I forget Barry's 17 years old. So Andy's not a parent. Andy is their like older guardian who asks them to do things for them and then doesn't give them any money, doesn't give them any. They're like having to be self sufficient because he's not someone who understands that like warmth and supportiveness of some parents. But
well, do you think it was interesting that like he was like, have fun, and Barry's like, yes, sir.
yeah,
In a billion years, I can't imagine my dad being like, have fun, and me being like, yes, sir.
it's because you're not Southern. I think that was also a
Okay.
Southern thing too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah, she's just really
Okay.
uncomfortable and unhappy in this entire situation, and we feel for her, and we know why because Andy's gross.
Ugh.
So there's that. All right, let's take this time and go to a commercial. Whew. My dishwasher is going with a vengeance right now, so hopefully you all can't hear it.
Can't
and
hear a
if-
thing.
Great.
Can't
great.
hear a thing.
Okay. Next is Louie and Melissa.
Okay, Louie and Melissa. So as I said, we're hot on one of these will they or won't they, which is will the PO people let him move, you know? And again, the mom is living here and Melissa's back in New Jersey, where of course he went to high school and was again the cream of the crop, the hottest, wattest senior, and she has just this whole time been living some sort of fantasy. And we even get more of that tonight.
Yeah, so much fantasy. So they're outside of the place and he finds out that he's able to go. They just have to like ask somebody on his behalf and then he can or something. Donna is like, she is triggering. She is in fact the root of probably most of his issues. The way she talks to him is wild. And I know that, you know, parents parent differently and people talk somewhat, however, whatever. But like she's like, you want my foot up your ass? And I'm like, ma'am, you don't even have the capability to lift a leg up in the air. So like for you to even say that just sounds so ridiculous. Like, you want me to punch you in the face? And so basically Louis tells them that his PO was like, if you get married to her, then it'll be much easier because she's your spouse. And she's like, all we have to do is get married. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, done, decided. And then we have Donna who's like, slow down, sweetheart.
She's so obnoxious.
She's so obnoxious. Then she walks away and she goes, I'm cooking. You coming? And it's just like, okay, I guess. And so then the next scene, they're at the house. And he's putting on a shirt. He's putting on a button-up shirt as though it's a regular shirt. And I just didn't understand the choice in that. Was it any faster? Were you in that much of a rush that you could not unbutton your shirt and then button it up like a normal person? And so then she comes in and she's like, you need help, Donna? And he's like, no, I'm a big kid. I can put, you know, my clothes on
No, you can't.
myself. And then she's like, take that date and shove it up your ass. I was like, Donna, what is wrong with you? Why do you want
wrong.
things up people's ass?
Well,
Does she like butt stuff?
let's see. I
Okay.
mean, now let's see. I mean, but
No, no,
I,
you want to see, and that's
I said
fine,
it.
Chris.
Freudian
I'm
slip.
here to
Freudian slip.
I'm here
Freudian
to
slip.
support
I'll
you.
watch, honey.
I'm
OnlyFans is
I'm
out there
here
for
to
shit like
support
this.
you. Um,
Wait, can I talk about something? I think one thing about Loki that the shirt behavior to me screams ADHD. He knows
to
how to he
me, to
he
me, I
doesn't
was
do a
like, is that prison nonsense because he had to hurry up and get dressed in prison? I don't know.
yeah, like think like I gotta get this done really fast and not being able to think like I can take every step through. And logically, the shirt has buttons, and I understand what happens with a button. You have to undo the button and then redo the button. You know what I'm saying? But one thing, and then she also gives a moment to Melissa, like, could your skirt be any shorter, sweetheart? Like one of those. And by the way, that shirt is short. But then okay. Then they do something that I felt like was so producer planned because in not one moment in God's green earth did
Can
I
you let me
feel
have my
like
fantasy? Can you just let me have my fantasy that Louis really wanted to learn ballroom?
like night two, like second night, he was just like, I've been in prison this whole time, being like, what can I do on a first date? Bachata. No, it's
Ah!
bachata. I definitely don't want to play pool. I don't want to get fucked up. I definitely don't want to like go have, like go to Vegas or anything like bachatas, but what it's been. I'm gonna tell you this right now. Having said this, I'm no, they didn't take bachata. They took whatever bullshit dancing. But I absolutely want to take like a bachata class. Did I make that clear?
Yeah, you did make that clear, and I want to do it. I want you to take it, and I want to see pictures of it and video. But Chris, so they go into the living room, and she's like, "This feels like prom," and he's like, "Speaking of," and he produces a corsage. Which again, when did he buy that? Did Donna buy it? Is this fake? You might be right. And why is she so talking about prom? Why is she still talking about prom in high
Well,
school?
you know who he went with, real prom. When it all mattered, the real prom, you know who he went with.
No, I don't. Who?
Lisa, the most expensive, the most successful pediatrician in all the land. Lisa.
You mean
Oh,
Kelly?
Kelly, the most Kelly, Harvard trained pediatrician, all that Kelly with her long blonde hair and her always loving me and her just being the perfect
Well,
little
guess
person
what,
for Men
Donna?
Lewis. What?
I loved him since I was a pedia. And also like Chris,
What?
why the fuck is she bringing up a pediatrician who wouldn't even fart in his direction at this time because of all of his tenure of bad behavior? Like Louis could have gotten with a pediatrician. No, he could not have. No, he could not have because of you.
It is because of her. I was gonna say this. This is me horrible. Okay. And I mean, it's interesting that he was so socially successful in high school, which meant that he was charming, which meant that he got along well, which meant that he was, unless he was an asshole and he was just like an asshole person. But like the fact that this Melissa, who was younger than him, such a crush, I'm assuming that he was maybe nice to her once or twice in his own realm of whatever that probably she fantasized about the one time that he was like, oh, you can cut in front of me like for a pizza, and she was probably like wet panties. Oh shit.
The hormones, I mean, the way that I used to have crushes on people back in the day just made no sense. Like,
Yeah.
I can remember like 2 to 3 big crushes. And it was earth-shattering, mind-blowing. Like, these are people that I truly, truly thought I was so in love with, I was made for, and because I was religious, I thought that God put them in my path for a reason. There was one guy at church, maybe there's two, maybe there's two, at church that I was like, oh my God, I'm seeing you. You're like beautiful. You're the greatest. There was a guy in middle school who I just thought was the most cutest. Whenever I would see him, I would get so freaking nervous. The butterflies in my stomach in junior high were just abound. Like, and now I'm so different. Like, I don't have crushes like that. I'm just so different now. And it's just like sad that I have lost this little kid, whatever, and Melissa still has it to a certain extent. I mean, over a crackhead, but like, tomato, tomato.
Yeah, like Yeah, I can't imagine if my biggest high school crush, like, somehow I started dating him. Like, I don't think he's my type now. So, like, which is
Mhm,
like what, which is the biggest thing,
mhm.
because at the time probably like my type was like a bad boy actor type. And the
You mean
thought
gay? Because, like, there was no straight boys in theater when we were in theater in high school.
he was, because he was like a straight male actor, which is why so he
Oh.
like he had that vibe or whatever. And so because of that, but now I wouldn't, I really don't want to date anyone that's like doing anything that I do. I mean, it's like, even if they're really successful, it's like it'd be nice if to date a successful actor that I wouldn't have to, if he was really successful, that I wouldn't have to worry. But you still have to worry, and I just gonna be like, well, that person's so successful. I guess that person just the more successful and talented of the two people in this room, and it would make me really mad. Like I would be resentful.
Oh. Good to know. Good to
So
know.
you can't. So I'll kill
Don't
you if
be
you're
more
ever in the same room with.
successful.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
the same room with
don't be
me,
more
I'll kill you.
successful than Chris.
Then
Okay,
you won't
she
leave
will
the room
be so
alive.
jealous and upset.
I was an only
Anyway,
child. I'm an only child. I think that
okay, that makes
reads.
sense. I don't know. Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes I forget that. Okay, uh, so they go to the ballroom session, and now this part seemed fake. The part where she's like is incensely and crazily jealous of this lady
Yes.
is like crazy. And the fact is that I hate people talk shit on the side. Like, if she wanted to like punch her in the face, and she should have said it to her face, in my opinion.
I see, but like at first I was like, is she just gonna be really jealous of this like young girl who has a summer job? But no, this girl started to come for her. Like she really did. Like, oh, what fabulous form you have there, Louis. Like he doesn't have fabulous. Like he's not that good. Like there's no way that this man is like really killing it. And she's just like, I'll warm him up for you. And then later's like, it makes you really honestly feel like Melissa's gonna come back, and this girl's gonna be like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I just wow, just one thing led to another with that beat. Like
No, no.
now if you're on
She's like,
Patreon, you know exactly what I did. If you're listening to the feed, you can just probably tell that I bobbed my head in a certain way.
she is like so upset. And first of all, she's like, this isn't a, what did she say? It wasn't it. This is not a class. This is a lesson. I was like, okay, that was a really clear distinction. But I
Oh,
would assume that you wouldn't be in a class full of people learning. But okay.
hmm.
And so she didn't think she was going to have the one-on-one time, that it would just be her. But I think maybe it's because Louis takes this more seriously than she does, and maybe she has two left feet. So perhaps I don't know. I'm making a lot of conjectures here. A lot
She
of
was fine. Like the girl just kept being like, slower, Melissa. And I just like, I mean, this girl isn't running. I don't understand what's so fast about her, like this girl, I know Melissa just constantly getting yelled at by people. And she's just always in a lower, but yeah, Melissa's always cast in the like low power position of this. Like everyone's always making Lewis and Melissa even making Lewis seem like God's great, like just like he's saying, like God's chosen child of all, just like, I mean, just the sun radiates light on him, like every morning, like birds come to him, like he from all intents and purposes is like a lovely beady-eyed crackhead with like one or two teeth. And I don't understand why his mom and this 29-year-old teacher, maybe even younger, I don't know, just like it's just like
23, I think.
well, yeah, probably. I'm so sorry. I said 29. I was gonna say 20 nothing, and then 29 came out. But I wanted to also be like, maybe they make her older. Everyone will think that I look younger. It's just like my like subtle trick. Anyway, so God bless. I'm just like, if I
Wow.
age every young person, I'll be like that 72-year-old, and then like that makes me look younger. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, it is awkward, and it is obviously set up, and Rebecca, I hope you got a pretty penny for this, honey. I mean, because with a strike happening for the SAG, so I mean, I hope that someone's making some money for this bullshit.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Key Rock and Brittany. I
Okay.
still don't like I don't like the way Key Rock talks to Brittany. I can't get over it. I feel it's so disrespectful. Like, even he just gets on my nerves with all his nitpicking of her. It's like raining, and he calls her, and she's like, "Hey babe." And he's like, "You see me standing here, bring me an umbrella." And I'm just like, why the fuck was that necessary?
So she fucking like does. So we now get a thing that like this is another thing. For some reason them kids at like 20 are really into paying top dollar for name brands, which this part's weird. So we have to believe that she's in red bottoms and he's in Louis Vuitton real shoes, and this is why this is happening, which is that she has to cross and give him an umbrella so that he can carry her back to the car so they can like not damage their like very expensive things. And I guess in my 20s, I had one designer item the entire time, which was one small little Louis Vuitton bag that I got for $600 at the time in France when I was a study abroad. That's the only and like so like I can't imagine having just come out of prison and have to like start your life and then be like, okay, I got some money, but let's just go ahead and put $3,000 for this. Like, what? Like I can't even talk. What are you talking about? Like, how do you even do that? Like, I mean, like, yes, at 40, you can have designer things. Yes, you can. And at 30, you can too. You can have more. But when you are 20 nothing and you are just like right out of prison, it just feels like babes, like let's just get things happening in other ways. What
You're right. You just do not understand how like true poor people maneuver. Like black people who are like living in the projects will have that Louis and that Gucci belt. And I don't know what it is. I don't know where they get it. I don't know how they do it. But my cousin will roll up with some Gucci loafers on, and I know that they are living in the projects on assistance.
are they real Gucci's? We don't know
Yeah,
for sure.
sometimes they are.
Okay.
I don't know if they've fallen off of a truck, or I don't know if somehow,
Well, yeah.
there was a little extra, money you could make on the side. And if you make a little extra money on the side doing who knows what with drugs and other nefarious activities,
Love that
you
word.
could easily get like 3K and then go and splurge on a thing and have it be status. Like I follow, there's so many people that I follow that I know are just living in the PJs somewhere or living with their mother, but they will just go, and it's just the way. It's just like I don't know. It's kind of like when I think of like rap life and like the lives of people who do that. But when you're teetering on it like I am, and I'm almost like, okay, I could have financial stability. So I'm not going to make those choices. But people who will never have financial stability are just like, why would I save? Why? I don't know. It's popular within Black folks for sure. I don't know about any other POCs culture wise, but I mean, there are people who walk in with fake. I've seen people at my job walk in with fake hijabs that say LV on them, and I'm like, why? Or did you get that in Dubai? But also, why? Why are you walking around with an LV scarf?
Oh wait, ever thought about that? And that's just like probably like this is gonna be like probably Hadam, but like yeah, like can you do a hijab with a like Hermes scarf? Like is it just like you could go get is it like yeah, so I mean yeah, in Dubai is all of the hijabs Hermes?
Yeah, can
Because
you? I imagine you could get the scarf and then do something like at the top of your head and just make sure it's secure. Like, yeah, you could definitely do that.
yeah, you don't have to have like a religious fabric. It can be any expensive
Oh,
fabric. And so for
correct.
status, you could just buy, whatever I don't know why I'm
Yeah.
just
With
making
a good pair of sunglasses? Oh, she might
when
be
are we going?
she was killing it. She was killing it.
I know. When are we going? This is
I
what we
know.
do. We get
Okay,
we
Moldova, Dubai, where else?
yeah, but when we go to Dubai, we have to like eye makeup up in extreme. And can anyone get better eye makeup than us? Probably not,
Ugh,
you know?
no, they
Y-
can't. And
Your new
lashes?
your new niece is like gonna probably come, for like that a little bit. But yeah, we'll get lashes, we'll give good eyeliner. We'll give like we're gonna give full face because we're not gonna be like, and then so we can also give like a bold lip. And then it's
Mhm,
just gonna be like all of it and then
mhm.
just like the finest, silkiest material
Yeah,
possible and just the jeweliest tones, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I was just like, I would take, um, Bilal's wife, what's her name? Shida? I would take
Yeah.
Shida's style. Oh, could you imagine Shida in Dubai?
Dubai.
Killing it.
That'd be a great spinoff for them. Come for me, Matt Sharp.
Yeah.
But not we don't want Bilal there.
We just
So
want Shida. It's Shida in Dubai. That's the name of it.
okay, so it's Shida, it's Avery. What if it was all like our like
Shida and Avery? killing. Except for we want
Islamic
Omar. We
brides.
we
I know we
want
can't.
Omar. Yeah, we want Omar. He's hot.
Yeah, because well, he's gonna be around there anyway because I think that he has like do their teeth and stuff like that. So like like let's have we're gonna have Nicole. We're having it's Islamic brides. Islamic
Oh,
brides Dubai.
Nicole. I thought you were saying nickel for, and I was like, no, he
Nicole?
dumped her. Nickel.
Oh, Azar?
Mm-hmm.
You mean Nicole and Azar? I'm sorry,
That's
Nicole
not his
and
name. That's not his
I
name at
know
all.
what's his name?
Let's
Oh, I
try
forgot his
again.
name. Uh,
Azan.
Azan. God, it's so close. I mean,
But
you
her
can.
name is Nickel.
Okay, yeah, no, I meant Nicole Mahmoud.
Oh yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
second episode in a row where you forgot that people exist. Okay, let's go back to what we're talking about, which is
No.
Love It or Lockup. So,
So wait, he says he's going to be in probation until what, 2050 or 2060? I didn't hear which one it was, but that's a long ass time. Can you even
yeah,
imagine what life is going to be like in those years? Like, it's hard for me to imagine 2024.
I mean, 2015, 2060 is like Terminator, where you're just like, everything is Terminator, where just like, it just looks like a Chiron and a number and then like a blanket, like landscape shot of what is going to be an apocalyptic scene. And
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It's hard
Yeah.
times out there, but
It's so
the
funny
machines are coming. They're already here.
it's so funny because I think back on like 2000 and the year 2000 when I didn't have a cell phone, and like now I can't. I tried to zoom in on an actual photo in my hand. I tried to zoom in on it today. So like what's in the future for us? I have no imagination when I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Anyways, so we find out that he has a mentor named Coffee, and Coffee is his prison's mother's partner. Girl, I don't know. She talks about chest surgery. Not she. He talks about chest surgery, and where are you going, Chris? This is now the second time that she has gotten up and left. Anyways, so he's talking about getting top surgery, and Coffee's like, you don't need it, and I don't know what Coffee identifies that, so I didn't want to call them a gender that they do not identify as. I'm gonna wait because we're about to talk about something fun, and she's gone.
Why do you get so mad at me?
Oh, I'm not mad. I'm just waiting for you because I'm about to say something and I want to know your thoughts on it.
Okay, go on.
Okay. So then we talk about the chest surgery, right?
Okay.
We talk about how he doesn't need the chest surgery. Old school Coffee is like, if whatever, but we're getting into a little bit of the body dysmorphia, which we talk about later. But then we find out that Chiron makes gospel rap.
Kirok, yeah.
Oh, Kirok.
Can I be honest? This part gave me pause, and it made me feel like the prison mom obviously was a Bible thumper, and they wanted to.
I didn't understand what was happening, Chris. I was like, who?
She seems to be just like a old school lesbian gay Bible thumper, like in some sort of like progressive, gay, Bible thumping gay sect of whatever Baptist. I'm not quite sure. So that's the reason why is when Brittany says her piece about letting people do whatever they want because if not, like they'll leave the faith. That was what I thought was her manipulation tactic of getting religious people to be okay with trans. I mean, not like, which is whatever, like I'm just like that's what I kind of read that as, but then it like comes back to haunt her because then it like is about her mom, and her parents like obviously not being okay with trans people, and then she has to like die on the hill of like they're immigrants and that they don't have it, any other way but to think this because of generational trauma. And then like Kirok is then forced to be like, no, I don't mean your mom, but I kind of do, but it's just like this is how I feel. And it's like I don't know. It's like we suddenly deep dive into like 10 different topics in a row with them. And like, I don't really know where to think about with all of them, you know?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It is a lot that they're going through. It's because Key Rock is going through it. Brittany is like acclimated, and I don't know what Brittany's crime was. I think she like helped set somebody up, but she obviously isn't as deep into the lifestyle as Key Rock, right? Key Rock got kicked out of the house at 16 and then was in prison by 19. So like Key Rock must have gone through it and did a lot. But Kirok is still so angry. And the fact is that he's like, oh, yeah, my prison mom helped me to forgive people, to know that I got God on my side. And I'm like, you are still angry, sir. You're still angry. You're rude to the person who's like giving you all of these things when you have nothing right now. And who's to say you will even have something in the future? Like, it's just so, it's hard for me to watch what I feel like is Brittany being abused by Kirok.
Oh, I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was like interesting one because we then learned that Key Rock had sort of been like, okay, babe, the minute I come out of prison, like we're starting that family, but somehow didn't know what that meant, which is Brittany wants a baby that both is like made from parts, or no, but she wants a baby that is, wait, she wants Key Rock's
Eggs.
egg because what is she? Oh, she's just gonna hold a baby, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
that's how much she's in love with Kirok, that she really is like, I really want a piece of you and me. Like, I want to be able to do all that. And Kirok in the confessional says, I made a mistake telling Brittany that I wanted to do this when I didn't really understand all that it entailed. But instead of having that conversation with her like that in the ice cream parlor, he can't do it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I've been out for 48 hours and you all of a sudden want to talk about it. And she's like, we have been talking for years. And
Hmm.
you said this is what you wanted, and now it's different. Now, the truth is, she's 23. They have at least 10 years before they really need to jump on and do anything, unless there's something biological with her that we're not aware of. So I think that's one thing that she can calm down. But even the conversation about the BBL versus the chest surgery,
Hmm. Oh,
she
yeah.
didn't, I don't think she tried to make like an equal thing. She just was saying, like, I get feeling uncomfortable in your body. And he wants her to know, no, you don't. And she's like, okay, I shouldn't have said. She probably is in her mind, like, okay, I shouldn't have said it's because of a BBL. Like, it's deeper than that. It's much, much, much deeper than that. But also the need to prove her wrong and sort of make her feel dumb doesn't bode well to me.
Yeah, it's like what's at the I feel like the crux of this almost feels like money. Like they have money set aside and they had planned to use that money once they've paid for all the designer stuff that they cannot get ruined by the water for the baby shit. You know what I'm saying? But now Key Rock is kind of like, okay, but here's the thing. Now we don't know if Key Rock has always also been talking about the chest removal surgery, but whether it got ignited by the thought that Key Rock would have to go on hormones to be able to have the egg retrieval, and therefore boobs would then happen because of the hormones that he would have to then take, and that was like triggering for him. Like we're not, because then it becomes imperative for him to have this because he wants to because he doesn't feel okay, and that is why it's prompting this. Because not only is this a plastic surgery to make me look different, but it's because I'm having a problem where it makes me feel really bad, this is a different thing than you as a woman just wanting to change a part of your body.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to say this as a non-trans person, I'll never know what that stuff is like or whatever. I definitely know what it's like to want to change part of your body. I don't obsess over that though. I think there are people that do obsess over hating one part of their body. And I never had that. Like I think that I hated my overall size maybe in different parts of my life. But like how do I say this? Like if I had a huge mole somewhere, if I had a like people really sometimes just like fixate on something that is just like unchangeable to them and like all encompassing in their thoughts. Now, of course, that's not the same,
It's
but if
not.
something is damaging to your life where you are just like, people fucking treat me like whatever, and I can't get to the place I place because this is not, this is what people see or whatever. Like, I can see a transformative surgery like that being really, really important. But at the same time, yeah, I can, I want Kirok to live happily, and definitely Kirok does not care about kids right now. It can be in his Anwa side of, we have 10 years to save. And I also feel like I want Kirok to be like, I don't care so much, Brittany, if it's like my egg. Just take one of yours. Do it.
Yeah, I just want him to be nicer to her.
Yeah.
Because she is wrong, right? It's not the same. But I just don't think you need to go to
Yep.
belittling that person in order to get them to understand. Like, you could just be like, hey, but I can't talk about this because it truly isn't the same thing. Thanks for trying to understand, but like, it's not. Or something. It just feels fucking rude.
Yeah. Also, like, Brittany has a good butt. Like, whether she thinks she needs it to be bigger because of Kardashians, like, fuck them. Like, we've seen Brittany's butt. Like, it's not mine. It's not a flat back.
Okay, so let's move on to Joinomi and Red.
This is an interesting part. So obviously Jordan has been like, I don't want, Red, I've never met him in real life and I'm real scared, hasn't seen me in real life. But I'll tell you right now. I talked to Red's mom all day long. All day long. I talk to her. She checks on me. She checks on Sway or Swade. What, I'm not quite sure. Still, I think it's Swade. Sway? I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna say Sway. And then, I mean, the moms hug, and immediately a warmth and love is felt, and both these women hugging look similar in size, and which then makes me like low key a little at peace for her, because I'm like, oh, okay, he's used to and he understands women and things. What?
Yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if that was the right thought to have, but the thought was her weight won't be an issue. It's not going to be like Monique's situation with his sisters who were just going in on her. It's not going to be like other people we've seen on this show. It's just going to be a family coming together. And I really liked that for her. So the mom took us down memory road. And maybe, sometimes when people say that they didn't know that their children were doing such things and they were shocked when they found out, I'm like, were you just unable to be as attentive as you should have been? Or is your son an actual psychopath actor? Like, because I feel bad. Maybe she was a single mom. The picture she showed her, and so just to be like, I had no idea. I mean, I'm sure you had no idea, right? But there's a certain amount of attentiveness that one has to. I mean, unless she was working 2 or 3 jobs, and there is absolutely no way on earth she could have, which can be an actual, whatever. But I just think, sometimes when they're not like immediately, hey, I couldn't give him the attention that was required because I was working a lot of jobs, and this is the unfortunate outcome. And so I just want to help him. But the truth is like that fool went into jail and just pushed his sentence further and further. So it's like so, not going on. So
you're not wrong. Yeah, I mean, everything you said is just Bible. I just want to point out 2 things. A, the mom is wearing sterling silver turquoise jewelry. So I was also like, would you go to the pawn shop after she sold it and was like, I'll buy it all, which is like the smartest move ever, which, God bless. And the second thing I want to say is they bring her down to the mom's work office. You know what I'm saying? There's credentials all over the wall. And like, Brett needs to come out and like help her like rehang those so they're all like uniformly shaped. And at one point you do see this one picture of Jesus that like everyone had, which is this like really golden haloed kind of like Vaseline filtered Jesus, where he's kind of looking this way and he has long hair. Like he looks, I mean, his hair is not so different from mine, maybe like a shade darker or whatever. And he has that like real peaceful look in his eye, just like,
oh, doesn't she look like Jesus now with her Jesus hair?
it's like that look.
Mm-hmm,
Maybe just more like yeah.
I mean, except for the way they draw him, he looks less, less Middle Eastern, like just the least Middle Eastern person you've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's like a tanned Australian man.
Yeah. They do. I'm like, can you just like, let's try to get close?
South African.
See what he ate for kids. Yeah, they're trying to just get closer to what he may have looked like during that time period, which is like he looks more like Nico with long hair than anything. Anywho, so Red's sister gets there and she is bringing over a car that Joinomi has paid for her brother. Instead of her, I don't know, just gifting the car to her brother, but maybe she just really needed that 7K. And so Joinomi paid for it. They go outside to get into the car and they're like, "Put that AC on. It's hot." So they're in the car and the sister starts to talk to Joinomi about some shit that's none of her business.
Yep.
And Joinomi gets upset and because she's being judged, she literally runs in the house and tattles on her like a big ass baby.
Mm-hmm.
And the mother is like, "Who said that?" She immediately gets up, turns to her daughter and is like, "You need to get on out their business," because she had no idea about the cheating. But she was like, no, this person has been talking to me for a year every day on the phone. So even if that did happen, you know, water under bridge is none of their business. And it's so true. Like, it's just so rude for the sister to bring that up. I get it. It's 90 Day Fiance. Someone told her, Love After Lockup. Someone told her to do it, but
same person, Matt Sharp.
Yeah, she's like, well, is he going to cheat on her when she gets out? And I'm like, babe, is that what you're worried about? Seems odd.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But it was funny when Joinomi was like, "Well, what has he done for me lately?" Like, yeah, he calls you every day. Well, I call him every day. I kind of, yeah, I agree with you that it is interesting that like she was not just like she was like, "Oh, you guys want me to give you guys 7,000 so that your son and your brother who's out of prison has a car?" Yes, okay. And then the way that she keeps being like, "Look, I have to keep proving myself to him and buying him things that are all materialistic." Like, why is that the case? Like that part seemed fake. Like, did you just read that? Did you read that from a cue card? Like, what just are you running around saying materialistic all the time? And she used it wrong. So it was still weird, but I mean, all of it, right? Wow.
Yeah. Did you see that the sister had some kind of white thing on her nose? She had like a white stripe on her nose. And I didn't know if it was like a new makeup trend she was trying out.
Oh, no, I
Very
missed that. No.
Last but not least, unless you want to talk about Nika, because I don't.
Well, just I want to say at one point she says gangsters move in silence, and I'm like, real Jews move in silence like lasagna, and that's the only thing I wanted to say.
I never understood that line because how does lasagna move?
Real G's move in silence like lasagna, and when you in lasagna has a G in the middle
silent. Oh my god.
Are you
this entire time?
Wow.
This entire time, Chris, I didn't understand what real G's. Yeah. Also,
and now it's a little wrong because of course it's not lasagna, and because it's lasagna with a GN, it's the yeah sound, but we still give it to Lil Wayne, who not only is, as you know, my favorite rapper of all time, and I'm a rapper, so I know. And why you're gonna have to take it right now, just let it
because you don't know the fact that he's not your favorite rapper. You don't know Birdman Jr. Okay,
I listen. I know Birdman.
And get out of here! Shut the fuck! Get out of here! Exit stage! Get off the screen! Okay, next. Now that she's gone and the crazy is left the building. Let's move on and let's talk about Mikey and Chelsea. Okay, you can come back. Great. So she is sick and she was just been hacking and coughing all night. And I was like, conveniently.
I know, at 3 a.m. I just like, who gets a cough suddenly at 3 a.m.? Like, this is what happens. You wake up with a tickle in your throat one morning, and then you're like, oh, it's weird. What is that? It's just like some allergies. It's weird. And then it's like a little bit of a sore throat. And then the sore throat moves things. You might get a fever. And if you get a fever, you're fucked. But no one's like suddenly at 3 a.m. like, I mean, unless when you start choking on something, I mean, what's suddenly happening in your throat?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know, girl.
She just definitely doesn't want something to be happening in her throat.
Yeah,
so it's closed for business.
Yeah, she is sick, and he's like, "Hey, I didn't get to have sex with her, but I did get to rub on her soft skin, and so I'm happy with that."
Yeah, because the way he was talking about it the whole time beforehand was like, "Yeah, I just wanna touch her, just wanna rub on her," and then he's like, "Yeah, touch her skin." She said it was soft, and then he hadn't even said the word sex, and then this time he was like, "Well, we didn't have sex," and I was like, "Oh, you even was that even on the part of the menu for you?" Because, like, I just assumed that you were gonna have, like, some sort of, like, sensual extravaganza where you guys just touch each other on like people on Molly, you know? I
Mm.
don't know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so then they get up the next morning and they go to his sister to meet his sisters at, like, I don't know, a Waffle House, girl. I don't know where they are, but there was nobody serving them. They had to, like, go up and get their plates of food. And he's like, "What do you want to eat?" And she's like, "Breakfast." And I'm like, can you be a little more specific what breakfast is?
She doesn't need to. There's an all-American breakfast platter that she wants. It's 2
Oh,
eggs, it's like the hash browns that are grated and therefore superior than all their hash browns,
superior. Yeah.
and
House.
then it's
Yeah.
gonna be like she should have been like bacon or sausage, but maybe she just gets both and she didn't have to say it. She could have also been like white or wheat or English muffin, and English muffin is the right answer there.
That place didn't have English muffin, girl.
Okay.
So they get up to the front, and the sister who he used to run the streets with, who they used to fuck each other's friends.
I can't stand that part, Why? I can't stand that. So, is he younger or older than her?
I don't know. I think he's younger. I think he's in between. I think it's
That's, like,
her,
weird how
him, and then the curly haired one.
So yeah, her and him would go like wingmanning each other at bars and then bring their suspecting friends to be like, "Hey, like you know who's hot? My brother, my sister," and then just like lure them in. I mean, that's
How
fucked up.
old were they? He's been in and out of prison his entire 20s. So, like, how
Mm,
old were they when they were doing this? Like,
you're right.
I was like, oh wow, just wild in the streets. Now I get it. Like, siblings have siblings who are that close, who are into mischief, usually do it together. But because I was trying to not be a bad example for my sibling, I kept them arm's length away. But I was not into mischief. So then they sit down, they eat, and we have a conversation about the promise ring. And she's like, "I don't want to get married. You have to meet my dad first. You have to ask him." And she's like, "I've never been married." And all of a sudden, it's like she's a little bit like, "You have to ask my father for my hand in marriage." Even though she's had like 4 children or 3 children out of wedlock and been in terrible relationships, it was just so interesting.
So yeah, with that crybaby tear, he's gonna go meet her father. And by the way, that's a scene that's supposed to happen at some point, which at some point we're supposed to believe that this grown ass seasoned woman and him have a conversation. He, whatever, what's the whatever correct there, where she's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, this is my my kill someone teardrop tattoo. You know what a kill someone teardrop happens when you kill someone, you have to put a teardrop on your display. Everyone knows this, like gang 90s jail. Like that scene at some point happens in this. Do you know that, Wa?
No, I didn't know that.
Wait, am I making this up? I need you to tell me right now that I feel like this trailer or something happened early on in the scene where she's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's now, whether it's a sharp moment where he goes, "It's where I killed someone." Just kidding. I was just, crying one day and my cellmate was like, "That's a beautiful shaped tear. I'm gonna make sure it's there permanently. And won't mean anything to anyone else. Don't worry about it." I'm not quite I'm not quite sure. Sorry to laugh, but
I didn't see that because I'm not, how I'm not watching it the way I normally should watch it because it's not working on my end. I'm having to watch it on YouTube. So
mm.
I don't get everything. Um yeah, so the curly-haired sister, was props to her because her ringlets are like, what is she using? You know what I mean? She's embraced the curly hair. And they're just worried that he's taking on too much too quickly. And I guess they're kind of thinking like in the vein of that crazy girl who sold jewelry in Florida, like that guy, he took on too much too quickly. And then there was Chance, who's definitely taking on something too quickly. You know what I mean? So like we can see that. I just don't see him being as bad as
What's
those two
that?
people.
What's that
Travis,
crazy girl's?
Trevor,
Yes, and
Brittany, Ashley.
Ashley. God, that's the bad. There's gonna be a billion Ashleys for the rest of our lives in any of
Yeah.
these shows, and a billion Britneys. I mean,
Oh, so many.
God, so many Britneys, so many. I mean, like, just don't name any kids. Don't name any more Ashleys or Britneys
There's
in this
4
world.
Britneys so far. 4.
There's too
There's
many Britneys.
Brittany, redhead Brittany, and Brittany and Marcelino. There is Brittany. these two Britneys on this show, and then there's a fourth Britney. It just escaped my brain. Anyway, but there's only one Bronwyn, so
Oh, too bad. And I need her back. And also, yeah, everyone was saying on the streets that like Brittany and Handy gives Bronwyn vibes. Someone who is an addict, who's right out of prison, who is with someone because this person is the safe sober house that they are like, let's just see if this can work. And they're like, please don't even look at me. I want to gag at the sight of you.
Yeah. Oh no, Brittany and Ray and Brittany, Black. Yeah. That's the fourth Britney.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes.
Lots of Britneys. Two Sarahs. I mean, it's like it's the same names. Two Sarah. Oh, speaking of Sarah, girl, did you see that Love After Lockup is coming back after this one? And it's going to be Chance and Taylor. It's going to be Brittany and Sean. I mean, that seems right, but it's not. Sarah and Sean. It's going to be Mike and Juju. What's her name? Justine. Some heavy hitters. So seems like it's going to be a good one. Okay.
I didn't see it. I got to see it. I'll look it up though. That'd be like a good thing to watch, like a little preview of. Great.
Well, that's the end of this, right?
Yeah, that's all I have to say. But what a, joyous, the fifth episode in this fifth season. Lucky 5-5. I'll tell you, Rome maybe not be where the heart is for Brittany, but here is where you can call home. Thank you so much for listening. And also, if you haven't yet, consider giving us 5 stickity stars. And also, we're on social media. Have you heard of it? Right now, it's really intense. But listen, we'll give you some content. Like our last reel was really fun, I think. Anyway, we talk about how hot Igor is. I'm sorry, Justin, whatever she wants to call him, from Moldova. And you can see it by going to our Instagram at DocuSweeties, our TikTok at DocuSweeties. I'm not quite sure. I'm not on this Twitter X thing. I don't even know what to do with that situation anymore. So, but we're there, DocuSweeties1, and we're also on Facebook, the DocuSweeties Facebook podcast group. And then, here's the thing. Well, I was going to tell you even more. I forgot the name of it mid-while.
Okay, that's what happened. So if you want to, donate to your girls and become patrons to get visuals of what you're listening to right now, as well as the episode as soon as we air it, as soon as we are done recording it, and other cool stuff, you should join us at patreon.com/DocuSweeties for $10 a month. Exclusive content on there. Also other funsies. So, join us there. $10 a month. Patreon.com/DocuSweeties. All right, you guys. I know.
Sometimes it gets, when you're doing your thing, and sometimes you take brick bricks. Brick bricks.
You guys, if you take brick bricks, join us on Patreon.com/DocuSweeties. All right. We'll talk to you later. Bye.